Hi, the second tab in the SIS is called the Student tab. And from the Home tab, simply clicking on Students will give you a list of your students. You can see the SBC, the school they're at, and the number of enrollments. So from here, there's a few things that you need to do. And to get to them, you just click on a student. So I'll click on the top student, and I get a variety of information here. First of all, the basic information about the student, including birth date, female or male. That may seem not too important, but in some cases when you start writing comments, you need to make sure you know. The email that they're using and their name. They can upload a picture, and you can get an academic snapshot, recent communications and activity. There's just some information in here in general. But the first thing I want to show you is sending an email. And it's much better than just sending to the student, because by clicking send email, I now can type whatever message I want in here, and then I can do a couple of things. I can send it to the student or not. I can send it to the guardian, the SBC, the diploma coordinator, and school service managers all in one spot. I can also copy my head of department. Now, one of the things that you want to be careful with here is the escalation. Typically, you want to copy to the SBC and the school service managers. These are the school service managers are the people that work at Pamoja that will follow up on how things are going with school communication. The next phase in escalation would be to copy to the DPC, the diploma coordinator, but this is only really when the SBC has stopped helping or managing the situation, or the school service managers have said, please indicate a link to the DPC as well. Now, the student is not going to get this email unless you want them to. And the guardian is a very last resort issue here. We try and deal very clearly with the school first and let them deal with the parents because they know them best before we escalate an email to that spot. So that's really it for sending an email. You just have to then click send at the bottom and you've taken care of it. If I go back to the student list and I click on the student again and get back to the main category, the next thing that I'd like to show you is external files. And these are places where we upload documents, or the students or SBCs can upload documents. For example, the transfer form, which for a transfer student helps the teacher understand what's going on, and I am able to download that. I'm also able to see that the term reports were loaded here by Pamoja, so the grades and comments. And really importantly, the SBC was able to load the 3 CS forms for the internal assessment, which is a year 2 issue. And I needed these. And so this was a place where we were able to gather signed documents from the students. And to upload a new file, you simply click Upload New File, and you can add it here. The wonderful thing about the SIS is it is a record keeper, and it will keep track of all this information, and all parties that are vested can see what's happening. Another part that you might want to look at is eText codes. If you click on eText codes, you can see that the student does in fact have their eText codes. Here's the problem. For these 3 things, they had the code originally and went in. They then had to set up their own username and account password that you will not know. If they lose that password, they cannot have another copy of the eText. They will have to purchase another one. We've only offered one time, and when they change the passwords, it's now out of their hands if they forget those. So just keep that in mind. There's also the student log, which is the history of what's gone on with the student. And if I wanted to look over the last year, what has happened with this particular student, I change it, get data, and I can see that they were enrolled in the course on a certain day. I can see when all the process of them being enrolled is going on. And this really would only take effect for a transfer student. If they're at the beginning of your school year, this won't really matter to you. So this is student logins. Another aspect would be viewing communications. And this is a place where emails that have been sent through the system are tracked, which means that earlier when I showed send email, this would give you a direct record of when and who was contacted, which is a pretty good source for you to have. It also will keep track of the different communications that were happening as far as transfer information, enrollment notes. So you can see the emails and the transfer information is all kept track of here. You can add a communication here at any point by clicking Add Communication, and so you are actually entering some kind of information into the permanent file of the student, and you can look at academic malpractice, attendance, you can look at medical issues, phone call was made, so you can keep track of your communication with the SBC here and other forms, which is really helpful, and just remember to click Save when you're finished with that. That's really it for the Student tab. So it was email. You can look at current enrollments, which would show you the course that the student's in, or courses if you want to see if they're in multiple courses with Pomoja. Communications is a network of keeping track of everything, and you can add them. The student log keeps track of basically the same thing as the communications. You can add external files, you can look at e-text codes, and you can go to support tickets straight from here, which would just show you the same thing as in the home page. So that's it for the Student tab.